Hello, everybody, and welcome to Blood on the Bayou, our Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition Chronicle set in the amazing city of New Orleans. And welcome to the Bear Pen. Before we get started today, we really want to give a huge thank you to absolutely everybody that has been commenting and subscribing and following. Thanks to all of you amazing viewers, we have reached our affiliate status, which is wonderful here on Twitch. So thank you all very, very much. We are working on some awesome things to give our supporters some encouragement for subscriptions, and there are a number of new um, shows which are going to be coming up in a while. So you can expect our first new show to come up in July, and as usual, we do have our Dungeons and Dragons game, which happens on Tuesdays as well. Um, to start tonight, I want to say that we do have a player that is in chat for a while, but he is missing tonight. Alex, we miss you, and get some sleep. You deserve it. Alex spent a lot of the weekend setting up some wonderful commands for you guys to use on our Twitch. So if you type in hashtag Discord, you should be able to actually get the link to the Discord server if you would like to join us at the honeypot. And if you would like to know who our cast is, you should be able to type in hashtag who or hashtag playing, and that should come up and actually show you who our cast is and where you can actually find them. And speaking of our amazing cast, why don't we go ahead and introduce our wonderful players. Tonight we're going to start with Kenny.
Hello. My name is Zach. I play Kenny. My talents include writing, dungeon mastering, being a player, and being very bad at talking about myself.
I mean, that was a lot more than you said yesterday, so well done, my dude. You're
W-
getting better every day.
One more thing, because I said player, and that's because I'm actually playing in this one. So it's applicable.
Very true. Next up on our list is our Breaking Bad thin-blooded scientist, Quinn.
Yeah, I'm Quinn, and I'm just trying to get by in this big bad supernatural world that I found myself in. Uh, Life's rough.
Life is rough, especially when you're thin.
Ugh, so thin.
Next up on our list is our good boy, our recently out of the coffin, Sora.
What a description. What a description. I was not ready for that. I'm also normally used to going last. But hi, I am Kira, 858, and I am playing the sweet as candy Sour Patch Kid Salubri named Sora, who has gorgeous white locks and stunning traits, and a brand new cougar that is perhaps making babies with his dog as we speak. So we should we shall see how that goes in the future. Wish you all luck.
Bernard is indeed very interested in older ladies. Next up, our wonderful Elijah Smith.
Hi, my name's Ari. I'll be playing Elijah tonight, who is completely ready to party.
As all good Toreadors should be, all times. Rule number one: party all the time. All right. Next up, we have Michaela.
Hey, Glyza here playing Michaela, who is obviously in no other terms a Toreador and also invited to party tonight. I have been away for a little bit, but I'm up to speed, and let's see if we can get this party on.
Time to get your party on. It's going to be great. And our last party animal for the evening is the amazing Sakura.
Hey, I'm Cassidy, and I'm going to be playing soccer tonight, and I'm so excited for the Toreador party. Cannot wait.
It's going to be awesome. Now, before we jump into our intro video here, I want to go ahead and remind everybody that Vampire the Masquerade is a game of personal horror. So there is a mature content warning for this stream. There might be things which happen during each episode which might make you feel uncomfortable. However, we have taken steps to speak to all of our players, and things which they are uncomfortable exploring will not be included in our chronicle. As always, if you are finding that you need a moment where something might be making you not feel particularly happy, step away for a minute, take a breather, respect your space, and we respect our player space as well. So keep that in mind. And without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into our intro. Welcome back. The world of darkness is filled with many things. Creatures of all shape and description. The phrase that there are many things between heaven and earth that are unknown to man is an adequate description. Many people were gathered at the Ambassador Hotel. It was a time of joyous celebration. People were eager in showing their support to their candidate who had just received wonderful news of a landslide victory in the area. As a rousing speech was given on the podium, the crowd cheered and eagerly expected that these victories would continue on throughout the country. The man left the podium and began making his way to an entrance by the kitchen, stopping to shake the hand of a young man who was working in the kitchen, barely 18 years old. Gunshots rang out. The crowd in the main room received word rather quickly. Panic began to spread. Shouts echoed. It wasn't very long before the assailant was apprehended and taken into custody. The man in question lay bleeding out, and 26 hours later was pronounced dead. But that was a different day. our coterie had received some rather interesting news about their young ward, the seeming Nosferatu boy, who they've come to know as Ricky. Although not all of the members of our coterie were present on that evening, some were working or tending to other business. Decision had been made to eventually tell everybody about what had transpired. Once suitable words could be found to convey the immensity of what had transpired on that night. This evening, however, is a few nights later. Our coterie has a few matters to attend to this evening. The members of Clan Toreador within the household have been invited to a grand gathering at Prince Madeline's Elysium, shall we say. The other members of our coterie have been given the opportunity to speak to a Mr. Finn Aegis, who through Sakura's connections they discovered was the head of an enterprise known as Edentech, which had recently, semi-recently, opened up its latest branch in the city of New Orleans. The Baron, eager to meet with this man and discuss some terms, had asked that his message be relayed to Prince Madeline that he would like to meet with him. Your aspiring Primogen decided that it might benefit your coterie more if they arranged the meeting on their terms. And this is where we begin this evening. Would everyone go ahead and make your rouse checks for me?
Is it safe to assume we've eaten since last game?
It's safe to assume you've eaten since the last game, I would say, but for purposes of this, we shall see if you are hungry this evening.
That's a yes.
Elijah's fine.
Sora is a little hungrier this time, so he would definitely, as always, spend the first waking hours of the day because he gets to wake up an hour early to go get some food. Get some noodles.
Quinn's a little hungry. He rolled a 3.
Yo, I rolled a 3 too. Okay, 3 buddy.
Wow, brother.
Yep.
Michaela is not hungry this time around.
Very good. Sora, would you like to go ahead and make your hunting roll?
Yes, indeed.
All right.
1 second.
I guess I'll do a hunting roll too, just to see if we can get this out of the way.
Indeed.
Dun, 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 dun.
Ooh,
So-
yeah, that's a crit. So that's 4, 5.
Like, was it wits and streetwise or?
You are a bagger, correct?
Yes.
Which
So maybe
streetwise would
persuasion.
be an adequate one, I would say.
What about persuasion?
Uh,
Talk my way into some blood.
I mean, if you could make a case for persuasion because if you are wanting to speak to the right people and try and not get yourself caught, you could make a case for persuasion.
But I was able to persuade you. Let's see. Okay. 10 and a 9. So 2 successes.
2 successes. 2 successes is not quite enough. Not quite
Yeah.
enough to score some fresh blood this evening, unfortunately.
To find some rats or something. Oh wait, I can't because I'm a bagger.
So you can eat animals. It's just
You don't get as much nutrition from them.
yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Unless you're a Nosferatu or a farmer, unfortunately not, my friend. But you
So
had a success there. Karen.
yeah, I had a crit. 4, 5, 6 successes total.
Easy peasy. You managed to find yourself something to munch on, an animal to munch on. As you are
And
all,
is it possible I could give one to Bernard? And be like, he's getting fresh cuisine from from the forest out there. Like, here you go.
sure. And speaking of Bernard, he's sort of padding around the house, looking a little bit bored. He's like,
Oh,
I gotta be honest, it's not much different from the zoo, except I just don't have people watching me as much.
oh, um, well, the good thing is we could take you out, and we could go to some place. I have a meeting I have to go to, but after that, maybe we could go to like a forest or something.
That sounds nice.
Okay. And he said, "Here's some food. I got some. I hope you enjoy it. Whatever the, maybe rabbits. I'm not sure what we caught."
Sure. Let's say you caught some rabbits. Rabbits
Alright,
this
cool.
evening. Rabbits for everybody.
It sounds good.
You will begin to rouse from your evening's slumber, and some of you hungry, some of you not. Quinn comes back from an unsuccessful attempt at finding some blood bags for this evening. But how are you all getting yourselves ready for tonight?
Sakura is getting crimped and proper and very, very extra.
Kenny is putting on his church suit.
Michaela is.
Is it?
Go
Is
ahead.
Kenny's suit colored? Is it colored church suit?
It's a
It,
colored church suit.
it is brown.
Oh, okay.
Michaela is freaking out because she is going to be appearing in front of a lot of Toreadors in this Toreador party, and she is scared out of her mind, but she's keeping it cool inside. I mean, she's keeping it cool outside. She's terrified inside, obviously. So she's trying to trying to peek into as much as how Elijah is preparing and how Sakura is preparing, and she's staring at, trying to figure out how to copy them without obviously copying them, but just she's like, "You're a Toreador. You're a Toreador. You're a Toreador. You're a Toreador." In her room, sort of as much as she can, but basically that's what she's doing to prepare herself.
Anytime she pokes her head in Elijah's room, he just stares at her like, what? Because he's still half dressed. Sometimes he's just in his towel. Sometimes he's actually got his pants on. He's just like, what?
And she silently just goes and then leaves again. That's all Michaela is doing right now. In Sakura, Elijah, she's just like, that's it.
Why is everybody in this coterie weird? Putting a shirt on.
Very good. All right.
So Sora doesn't dress up. I mean, he even went to Elysium with just his hoodie and stuff like that. He can't really dress up. He has to keep his garments fully covered. So once again, he got that good old classic garbage-based hoodie that the Rat King was talking about. Yeah, as he said, it looks like it came from the garbage. His garbage-based hoodie with the do rag and the bandana on top, and his classic loose slacks, and just his backpack filled with drawing equipment and such. So, but pretty much look the same.
All right. Very good. All of you take a bit of time to get ready for the evening. And the time is fast approaching for the members who are going to be attending the the prince's function to begin making their way. Although, being a Toreador party, arriving fashionably late is almost expected. So, it's one of those things. The rest of the coterie, I believe that your meeting was on the books for 7 p.m. as well. How are our Toreadors going to be traveling this evening?
Elisha's like, we could take my very nice SUV or like borrow one of Sakura's vehicles. I'm pretty sure you have connections to get like a very fancy ride.
I could get us a limo.
Definitely the limo.
Yep, fair.
That sounds good for me.
Cold
That's
in the
what
limo.
the fancy Toreador party demands, right?
Yep.
As a fancy Toreador, the limo is what we should be taking.
Very good. It doesn't take that long. The service does not really get too many people that are asking for limos on the rig. So yeah, you managed to get yourself a pretty nice looking limousine for the evening, and as it pulls up into the door to the door of your house, you can all go ahead and this is for everybody that is in the coterie haven. You can all go ahead and make a wits and awareness roll for me, please.
Three successes.
One success.
Three successes with a crit.
Uno successes.
Like father, like son.
2.
5 successes.
5 successes. All right. So, Sora, you're definitely the one that notices for various reasons because you have been up the earliest today, this evening. You know, you got to catch just like the very end of sunset, basically. And the interesting thing is that as you are seeing that that Elijah and Michaela and Sakura have begun to make their way to leave to get into the limousine, you notice that you actually haven't seen Ricky around this evening. You're not really sure where he is.
Oh. Are they already in the car? Or
They
were
are they're on their way because the limousine has arrived, so they are getting ready to sort of like leave the house for the.
So, since they haven't actually left yet, he will run towards the group and be like, "Hey, you all look very pretty and beautiful and gorgeous and stunning and such." And so I wanted to say that first. I do mean it. But did you all also know that Ricky seems missing? I haven't seen Ricky anywhere.
Immediately, heightened senses, hearing, listening for little footsteps, and then check the guardian where he usually hides.
Okay, so you can make a wits and awareness there and add your heightened senses to that.
Sense the unseen in case he's hiding.
Okay, go ahead and roll it.
Four.
Okay.
3.
3. All right. 4 and 3. Elijah, you downstairs here. You do not see Ricky hiding or anyone else that seems to be obfuscated at this point in time. Sakura, you are listening out and you check the garden, and you don't see Ricky around there. And with your heightened senses, you can hear more or less where the other people are in the house when you take a moment to sort of like stop and listen and hear for signs of movement and such. And the you don't hear little footsteps, but barely, you think you can hear what sounds like Ricky's voice, and it's coming from, you would judge, probably the attic. You're muted, Cassie.
Goes up to the attic with Sense the Unseen up in case he's talking to the ghost.
You head up to the attic, and you do see that he actually has a little blanket that is sort of laid out, and he is sitting down, and he does seem to be in conversation with Sheila, and she is sort of sat in the blanket and has this sort of interested but not saying anything kind of like look on her face where she's looking at Ricky, and Ricky is attempting to just like have a little conversation with her, and it almost as if he's trying to like get her to play with him, like play. He even has like little Pokemon on the mat that he's made, and he is saying to her like, uh, I know you're like, I get sad sometimes too, and it's one of those things where, like, lately things have been really strange around here. I know they were strange for you too, but sometimes I like to play with these. And I know you don't, I mean, maybe you can't move them, but, like, I could move them for you, and we could, like, play. Maybe you wouldn't be so sad, and you can, like, talk to me sometimes too, because maybe you understand a little bit more about being weird. He hasn't really noticed that you have come in.
First off, that is utterly adorable. Second, she'll just like go up and come up behind him, like not trying to scare him, but just not making loud noise, and just push the Ouija board that she left up there towards her.
She's you're pushing it towards Ricky, or you're pushing it towards Sheila?
Sheila. Well, both really, like in between the two.
Okay. Ricky has noticed that you are here now, and he's like, "Oh, hi. I was just talking to Sheila," and Sheila kind of looks at the Ouija board, and then you do see the planchette starts moving, and it says, "Hello."
That might help a little bit. I wish I could stay and help you chat with her, but I have to go to a really important thing.
Okay.
Oh, you said you wanted to go to those gardens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I have to go now for important business, so I can scout it out for you, and we can go tomorrow.
That sounds good. Thank you. Did you speak to
All
Mr.
right.
Quinn about the ice cream? I still couldn't figure it out.
Oh, I did not yet. I will go do that before I leave. Okay, you have fun. Stay out of trouble. Text me if you need anything.
Okay. I think maybe I can get Sheila to
All
play.
right. Maybe.
All right.
Give him a little pat on the head and head downstairs to find Quinn.
Quinn, where exactly would you be at the Coterie Haven this evening?
I'd probably be downstairs waiting for, us to leave.
True. Yes.
Since I don't usually reside there.
Very true. So Sakura, you do find Quinn is downstairs in the sort of like one of the main rooms, sort of like waiting for everyone else to gather so they can
On the
begin to
phone.
make their way.
Playing something stupid.
She will run up to him real quick and go, Quinn, Ricky reminded me of something that we might need your help with.
Yes.
Can you make blood ice cream?
I don't see why not.
And specifically that we can eat and Ricky won't throw up immediately.
I mean,
Because we tried just making it and it didn't really work. It was very just goopy and still throw up.
can Ricky eat normal people food or no?
No, I can. He can't.
Well, I guess we could try.
Yeah. I think he'll really like that. He needs a little cheering up.
He is an adorable child.
He's so cute. He's upstairs trying to play with the ghost because she's sad.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm going to have to bring him some flowers because he likes flowers. But I have to go. Good luck with the meeting. Remember, we're trying to get that guy to meet with the Baron for Andre for the prince and all that. But good luck. And head.
What would you want me to roll to try and make this ice cream, Adrian?
So we would make it because this is one of those things where you are a thin blood. I feel like this would be an excellent time to try and use your thin blood alchemy to like make this. So if there are specific roles that it states for you to try figure something out, but I would say you could probably do like an intelligence and alchemy and like science or even medicine role might be able to figure out how to try and use your concoctions to make some thin blood vampire ice cream.
Intelligence, alchemy, and science. It is. Hey, because he's got science seems like it makes more sense because he's got to figure out how to make it for him, Ricky, so it doesn't make him sick.
Yes.
So, all right. So that would be 10 dice. All right. So we got 6 of success. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 successes.
It is the darndest thing because you're working through a few different permutations in your head, and these things wouldn't make sense to other people, but you have been experimenting with your own vitae and experimenting with other things in the lab occasionally, and I think the problem here is that they haven't been using drain cleaner. If I just used a little bit of my own vitae, probably like a few like flakes of gold dust, some, like really fresh double cream, and then just like plain old blood, and just like had that all inside like the alembic for a while, heated to like, maybe like 60 degrees, then just like instant freeze it. Probably make blood ice cream. It wouldn't make sense to anybody else at all. But this is pretty much what you figured out. You might not want to tell other people that you're putting drain cleaner in it.
Okay, still. it's a trade secret.
You figure you could probably make it. You're running through these permutations, like it's like that GIF where you see, all the different scientific equations in the air that are going past your face while you're thinking about it.
And if he failed, he would have just grabbed some ice cream and poured blood on
it. So, Sora and Kenny, you do arrive, at the waiting point. You kind of see Quinn sort of lost in thought, and he's grabbed like a little notebook, and occasionally he's like writing down notes. And
I know that look. That is the look of a genius.
All right. And
Do I have to go back to my lab, or do we have one here?
you guys have not installed a lab at the Coterie Haven, unfortunately. So to make this, you would definitely need to go back to your lab, but you'd be able to.
Okay.
So you
We have
might
time for that?
probably not this evening, but definitely you'd definitely be able to bring him a surprise next time round, I would say.
Scratch some notes.
Meanwhile, Sakura and Michaela and Elijah have gotten ready, and you are stepping into the limousine. It begins to drive off towards the Longview Gardens. It's not terribly far from where you are as a coterie at the Haven, and eventually you do arrive and see that you are, well, definitely not the first ones here by any means. There are a couple of lights which are sort of shining. Those sort of like when people have those sort of spotlight searchlight things which sort of shine and indicate that an event is happening there. You can see that there are a few other cars which are parked in the premises for the evening, and the main entrance is open, and you can see that there are some people that are beginning to sort of filter their way into the manor house for the evening. The car pulls up, and the driver gets out and opens the door for you.
Sakura will get out and wait for the others to get out and just say, so do we want to stay together, go talk to Madeline, then split?
Michaela is gonna hang out with Sakura. And she weighs the options. She's is she gonna hang out with the friendly one or the angry one? And I feel like the friendly one would be a better cover than the angry one. So she chooses the friendly one.
Cover for her particular personality traits.
Exactly.
As
a Toreador. Like,
yes.
That's exactly
being a librarian, that
being a librarian.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of
obviously that's what it is.
It wouldn't be a bad option for all of us to say hi to Madeline. I mean, I'm fully determined to enjoy myself this entire night, so you guys might not see me until it's time to go.
That's fine. I just think we should probably say hi to her together as the Toreadors of the Coterie.
Yeah. This will be an interesting night.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be an interesting night.
Oh.
Walking inside the open doors of the manor house, you can see that there are a number of different servers that are around that walk with trays of what look to be champagne glasses, walking around the area, and you can see that there are a few people sort of chatting in the different rooms, and the thing that sort of stands out to all of you the most in the rooms that you see here are the combination of people that you see. Everyone seems to be dressed very, very well, very, very sort of elegantly and extravagantly. There are wonderful suits, there are beautiful evening dresses, there are different colors and different styles on display. There is music that is sort of like filtering through the air, and the mixture of people seem to be a mixture of not just what you would say is potentially clan-toured, or you see that there are a number of Nosferatu in attendance as well.
That we see
That you see, yes.
since the unseen.
Very good. All right, so you turn on Sense the Unseen, and you will go ahead and roll it as well.
2 successes.
2 successes. So you do see that there are maybe 1 or 2 other Nosferatu that you have not seen, that seem to be in attendance at this party, that are sort of on the sidelines and making themselves more or less invisible. And the other thing that you see is there seems to be an interesting sort of shimmer, is the best way that I can describe it. A slight rainbow shimmer that is getting stronger towards the back of the house. And as this view of this rainbow shimmer begins to intrigue you, you suddenly see an extremely blinding light coming towards you, Sakura. I need you to please make me... You'll give me 1 second. I'll tell you what it is now, because I did not open my correct book. Bum, bum, bum. I will tell you the exact effects of this in un momento. Won't take too long. All right. Oh, okay. So yes, you don't need to roll anything. You see an extremely blinding light walking towards you, and you get an immediate, massive headache, and your resolve and willpower drop by half of your resolve score for this scene. So 1. So for this scene, you are at 1 resolve and 4 willpower. And you have a massive blinding headache, and you sort of turn your head away to the side and wince in pain. And to the rest of you, you see Sakura sort of moving her head to the side and sort of wincing in pain. But to the rest of you, what you see is Prince Madeline is walking towards you, and she is attired in a beautiful white silk evening gown, and she is wearing long white silk gloves, and she has a happy, a delighted smile on her face. And she is coming towards all of you, and she says, "Oh, I'm so happy you could Are you okay, Sakura?"
Yeah, just had the wrong sense going. never ends well.
Ah, that'll happen sometimes. I wouldn't recommend doing
Yeah.
that around me.
Noted. Now I know that. She like tries to blink her eyes a couple times, just
Yeah, the sentient
in and out of her sight.
has sort of
Yeah.
you reflexively turned
Turned it off. Yeah.
Welcome to the party. I'm so happy you could all make it. And she's looking at all of your outfits and she says, "You are just everything and more. And would you care for a drink? Come." And she sort of grabs Michaela by the hand and she's sort of leading you guys further into the room.
Michaela is nervous as hell. As she, before she was thinking of curtsying, but apparently she just got grabbed, so she sort of like stumbles a little bit, but follows and like tries to not panic as she looks towards Sakura and Elijah, and is just like grabs Elijah's hands so that can drag Elijah with her, just because Sakura seems to be a little, so she's like, all right, angry one, grab, let's go. So that's what she does.
So
Sakura will
Michaela
then
was
grab Elijah's other hand because train.
Elijah was actually in the process of offering his arm to Sakura because he could see she was having a little bit of trouble. When his arm is grabbed, he's just like, "Oh Lord."
Then his other one is grabbed because train.
He's like, "Oh, okay, this is what we're doing tonight. Okay."
very good. So Prince Madeline begins to sort of like happily sort of tug you along, and while you guys are moving, let's just see if you recognize anyone specifically that is around while you are going. So you can all go ahead and make me a let's make it a wits and streetwise, just to see if you recognize anyone.
Because you said there are some Nosferatu, Sakura would be looking for Lolita and Peaches as well.
3,
5 successes.
5.
Didn't get any. Still a bit out of it.
Understandable. So Michaela and Elijah would definitely actually notice the people that you were specifically looking for in your mind, Sakura. Not Peaches, but both Elijah and Michaela do clock Miss Lolita. She seems to be having a ball of a time, busy talking to some people. She actually waves as you guys go past. And Michaela, you do notice that there is a one other figure that you had seen briefly during the Elysium, the very first Elysium that you had attended, and he seems to be actually leaving out a side door. But you sort of recognize that he looks familiar. I think I've seen him before, but it was very, very quick. So Prince Madeline has taken all of you, and she is stopped by a set of doors which would lead towards the back, and she grabs some glasses of champagne off of a tray and hands them to each of you, and she says, "Whether or not you're able to do this, drink it anyway and tell me what you think."
Sakura would drink it because she can.
Mm-hmm.
Without even thinking, because it's alcohol.
Yeah.
Michaela drinks it just because everybody else does. She's hoping it doesn't do anything to her, so she just drinks it anyway.
So, Michaela, normally, are you able to normally ingest alcohol?
I don't know. I don't think I added that to my thing.
So you don't have the eat food merit.
No, I do not.
Okay, which is fine. So you but Sakura and Elijah are able to have it, right? Okay, so you drink this champagne, Michaela, when Michaela was alive, what was your absolute favorite drink in the world?
Um, I'm gonna say just a normal beer, just simple, you know, beer.
This champagne looks like champagne, it
Uh,
smells like champagne, but when you drink it and you find that you can drink it without throwing up, it tastes like your favorite brand of beer that you remember having all those years ago. Something that you haven't been able to taste in God knows how many nights now. And it's
so
surprising. Very
so
surprising.
what Michaela does is she drinks it, and then she's like, "This is this is I haven't had this in such a long time. How? How did this happen?"
Prince Madeline gives a little smile and she says, You'll find out in a minute. How about Sakura, even though you can still eat and drink? What is Sakura's favorite drink?
Probably a melon ball.
I mean, again, it looks and smells like champagne, but it tastes like the best melon ball you've had in your entire life.
Just sort of stares at it again, drinks again, and is very confused at it.
And how about Elijah? What would your favorite drink your favorite drink specifically have been when you were still living?
Whiskey.
I'm putting it in chat. It's actually a Russian form of mead.
Interesting. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. If I had the Russian spelling with the letters, I could probably phonetically sound it out. But I either way, it is that. It is what it tastes like. It is bizarre. And she says, I have a little bit of a surprise for everyone here tonight. And I think it's just about time. Now, I've told all the other guests so far, but don't freak out. It can't hurt you.
Michaela internally freaks out.
Michaela can feel Elijah's hand get a little tighter. So I'm assuming when he took the drink, he's still offering his arm to Sakura, but he's still holding one of Michaela's hands, and she feels it get a little tighter.
Sakura took his other hand so that there was a toreador train.
Prince Madeline turns around and the doors begin to open. And we're going to cut to our other friends getting ready
Dang.
for their meeting at Finn Aegis. We'll come back to our toreador in just a moment. How are, for purposes of this, yes, Andre is there, although he will not be doing the talking.
Oh, he's not doing the talking? Oh boy.
Well,
okay, we got
no, I
problems.
mean, because that would
We
be
got
me
problems.
talking to myself. That would just be silly.
Yeah, that's true. That's a
One
good
in, one in chat if you want to see that.
point.
One in chat if you want to see Adrian talking to himself.
I'm down for that. I'm down for that.
I just dropped the one. Yeah. I want to see Adrian talk to himself. It's going to be awesome.
I'll try that. I will try. You just want this to be like Adrian time only. This isn't a monologue, goddammit.
I can have it. It will be fine. I'm just messing.
All right. So, Kenny and Quinn and Sora, how are you guys going to eat and take this evening? You know that the address that was given to you is right across from. Give me a second. It is on Loyola Avenue, right across from Duncan Plaza City Park. You guys know that this actually used to be the site of a very large hotel that was in the city that overlooked the park. But about 6 or 7 months ago, construction started, and it seems like that whole block was bought up, and projects began working on transforming that area into a completely different um, sort of enterprise. And it's been easy enough to see, but the you guys have definitely passed it once or twice. It has been filled with even more parks and more trees and water features, and it has a really beautifully constructed skyscraper that seems to be done in a way to allow lots of natural light and lots of natural air, and it seems to allow it seems to be shaped in a very constructive to, shall we say, ecology, in that it can basically run completely off of the solar energy that is being directed towards it, and it's quite a beautiful structure. But you know where it is. But also, again, it's not too far from the French Quarter where you guys are currently.
Um, I offered to drive and direct everyone to my dark blue 2003 Honda Civic.
Sora will look and he says, "Oh, it might get a little packed if I try to bring Lagatha. So I'll just take my Toyota Prius."
Um, hmm, hmm. Sora,
Yes.
just to be clear, you're adamant about bringing your guard dog to go meet with this rich guy at his fancy building.
Well, yes. I don't know who this person is. He might be dangerous. He might be scary. He might have 500 guards that try to attack us. And so Lagatha could keep us safe.
Uh, I think you might have a warped point of view of Lagatha if you think that she can defend us against 500 guards, but that's neither here nor there. Um, I'm a bit concerned that were you to bring it, in order for us to have this meeting, you would need to be separated from us. And I don't know that that's for the best.
So you want me to go if I'll protect? Ooh. You see, Kyle looks a little nervous. He says, mm, "Okay, I guess I normally don't go to places without at least Lagatha, but
It's
uh,
your choice. I mean, if you decide that you want to bring her, we'll have to figure it out. I'm not sure. I'd hate to see us be separated.
mm, okay." He looks down to Lagatha. He says, "Okay, Lagatha, maybe not this time, but just keep on guard. If I do a howl, that means I need help. So please come ASAP. I will be at this address." He will point it towards. He's like, "I'm not sure if you can read, but if you can, this is the place." And then you point.
She looks up at you, looks down at the address, looks up at you,
Oh boy. Well, hopefully
and nods her head.
okay, okay, okay. And gives you. Okay, I'm good. I'm good. And he said, "Okay, I will join you all on your endeavors. Lead the way." Also, who's going to do all the talking? I mean, I can talk, but I'm not really the best talker. People just mostly like me because I'm beautiful, but that's about it.
Well, that's not a bad quality to have, but I'm happy to have a word with Mr. Aegis if you feel uncomfortable.
Well, I mean, I don't mind talking, but I'm pretty sure I can mess things up. So I think if you want to ensure success, it was should be me.
Well, we'll see how it goes, Sora. I think for a person that we've never met, we all have an ample opportunity to mess things up.
He kind of like turns his head to the side for that. He said, "Oh, that makes sense. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Wish us luck." Well, we are going there, so I guess we all should wish each other luck. But
Excellent. As you guys climb into Kenny's car, we're gonna go ahead and take a short break here, guys. So we're gonna take a 5 to 10 minute break. Thank you all so much for joining us on Blood and Bayou episode 6, and we hope that you are enjoying yourselves. So have a stretch, grab some water, grab a snack. We'll be back very, very shortly. See you soon. Welcome back, everybody, to the second part of Blood on the Bayou, Chapter 6, where we had just left off. Our good friends Kenny and Quinn and Sora and Andre, who is mysteriously quiet this evening, are beginning to make their way in Kenny's car to Eden Tech. It's not a very long drive on a Tuesday night. You begin to eventually make your way from where you reside in the French Quarter to Loyola Avenue. Those of you who are interested in keeping up with the news of the day, do recall that there was a little bit of controversy around the building of Eden Tech in this position, because the hotel that had been there for quite some time. It wasn't a historical building by any means, but it was a fairly nice hotel. However, a lot of the original structure did get kept. It's not super old hotel, but they managed to keep as much as possible. But to be fair, whereas previously there was essentially just a giant car park there and the rest of it was kind of ugly, what's there now is honestly beautiful. Even though it is across from a park, the park looks like somebody's backyard in comparison to the grounds of Eden Tech. The trees that have been transported here and put here are enormous and beautiful. The grounds are immaculately well kept, and there is almost an air of somebody having brought a sense of the wilderness into the heart of New Orleans's financial district, basically. You begin to make your way into the driveway, the entrance, and there is a security guard there who stops you at the boon and asks you to pull down the window. Evening.
Kenny does. Good evening, sir. We're here for a meeting.
Okay, right. Well, if I can just get your registration quick, just we do like to keep track of people who come in and out. It's just protocol, really.
Certainly. And he will. Sorry. He will go into his glove box, pull out the registration, and show it to the security guard.
It won't be a minute, sir. And he takes it and he just puts into the thing and hands back and hands you a little ticket. You should be able to put that on your way out and all good to go. Have a good evening. And the security boon opens up and you make your way into this underground parking lot. And there is an elevator, obviously, where you can head up into sort of the main level.
Kenny would park the car and he would suggest that they go to the highest floor that they will be allowed to visit per the button to start their search.
Okay. Are you all making your way to the elevator?
Yes. Sora is definitely keeping, as his normal paranoid self, a close eye out on everything that's around. If anything looks suspicious, any small little midget thing, like, hold on a second, what's going on over there? He'll be whispering out to the group.
What sort of senses does Sora have?
Heightened senses.
Heightened senses.
Yeah. Couple more sessions, I'll be getting that good old sis the unseen and just make sure not to use it around the prince. But
All right. So heightened senses. Go ahead and roll it for me.
okay.
I want to see if you notice something.
All right. And boop. All right. 1, 2, 3. I'll roll willpower for that. Okay, that's better. 5 successes of willpower use.
5 successes. Oh yeah, you notice it. I'll describe in just a minute what you notice. You all head into the elevator, and there are buttons that show all the way up to 38. This is a 38 floor building. You try and press 38, and it doesn't light up. You're trying pressing different buttons, and they don't light up. Eventually you press 1, and it lights up. And it begins to take you up to the first floor. And
Have 38 floors and only one of them works? Ooh, what kind of place is this? You have to
Well,
walk up every other stairs?
I suppose that once we get to reception, they'll be able to perhaps let us farther to wherever we need to go.
Oh, it's a security measure. Okay, I was about to say, I was like, this place looks so fancy and they can only go to first floor. Like, that's something that doesn't seem right. That doesn't seem right.
Suppose that security is included within their fanciness.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
So as the doors open, ding, onto the first floor at this elevator, you can actually see that only from the basement area up it looks relatively normal. Once you get up into the first floor, you can see that the sides of the elevator actually are completely glass and open, so you would be able to see the entire floor going all the way up, all the way to the top. And as the doors open, Sora, something did the moment you guys start driving into the area through this wooded sort of like almost parkland kind of area that they've constructed here, and especially now that the doors have opened out into this building, you get a very, very strong scent of dog. You smell dog. There's no other way for you to put it. You smell the strongest scent of dog just in the air.
Now, just to clarify, are we talking about like standard dog, or are we talking about like dog that was just about to kill him a few episodes type dog?
Would Sora know the difference? This is me asking you as a player. If you think yes,
Oh yeah, definitely, because that was one of his closest die of near death. So he would notice that shit in 2.5 seconds.
then yes. It is not just the smell of dog, Sora. It's the smell of wolf. It is an intense smell of wolf everywhere in this world.
Sora stops, grabs Kenny and Quinn. Like, wait. Oh, I know the smell. This is the same smell of the folks who was trying to chase us back into I smell wolves.
Well, that sounds to me like an explanation for why we're here.
Wait, this is a good thing? Did he just try to kill us like not too long ago?
I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm just explaining that this is why a meeting is looking to be arranged. That makes sense to you, don't it, Sora?
The elevator doors start closing.
He looks back at the elevator door and realizes you can see like the ticky nicks in his hand. He says, why did I should have brought Lagatha. Okay. Woo. Okay.
All right.
Okay. We can do this. Lead the way, Kitty.
Downstairs.
He hits the open door button.
All right. The doors open up again. And you begin making your way out and towards where you can see that there is a really large, beautiful reception area. This building is constructed in such a way that there is a lot of greenery inside. There is a lot of glass lit in sort of natural lighting during the daytime. Even at nighttime, you can see that there are balconies interspersed, and it seems to be a very busy area and busy. There are people walking around doing certain things. Downstairs, you can see that there seems, in the distance, you can make out there's a bit of a cafe area, and people are actually seeming to be enjoying some form of dinner. And there is a person at the reception desk, and she does turn to you and say, "Welcome to Eden Tech. How may I help you? I understand you have an appointment. Is that correct?"
That is correct. We have an appointment to see a Mr. Aegis this evening.
Hold on one moment. And you can see that she touches an earpiece. "Mr. Hughes, your 7 o'clock is here." "Excellent. He'll be right down. Now, please make use of the cafe if you'd like."
I'm sorry. One question. I do want to make sure we make good use of Mr. Aegis's time. How long is our appointment scheduled for, if you don't mind me asking?
Usually the meetings are scheduled for an hour to 2 hours. You would have likely around that amount of time.
Thank you.
All right. It takes a little bit of time, but she has sort of guided you, sort of pointed in the direction of where the cafe area is, and you can see that people are, as I said, some people seem to be grabbing some form of dinner, and eventually down after a bit, you see a man that comes walking towards you, and he is around 6 foot. He's not super tall, but he is sort of like salt and pepper, gray black hair. He looks to be in maybe his mid 40s. He is in looks to be in very very good shape. He is. You can see that he is actually walking with a cane for some reason, but he has a big smile on his face. And the thing that does stand out about him most is the color of his eyes. It is exactly as the Baron described. If you had to see a $1 bill and hold it up to his eyes, this would be the same shade of green that you would see. And he has a big smile on his face.
To clarify for the player, would Kenny, in essence, recognize him to be the same salt and pepper figure with a cane that he saw the night of the circus performance? I mean, Elysium.
Those of you who were there, yes, you would recognize that this person was indeed at Prince Madeline's Elysium.
Okay. Good.
And Sora, your nose is just picking up all kinds of wolf coming off of this man. All the kinds of wolf.
Goes towards Kenny like, danger, Will Robertson, danger, danger.
And the man sort of holds out his hand to greet you. Is like, good evening, I'm Mr. Finegis. I understand we had a Mr. Set coming to meet us this evening, and he sort of does shake Andre's hand as well. And all of you, you can call me Finn. So, have you guys been here before? Has anyone given you a tour of the facility?
They have not. It is our first time here.
Well, I understand that Mr. Bissett wanted to talk about a potential partnership, but I thought maybe if you don't know enough about Eden Tech, you might want to see what we do here. Come on. I'll show you around the place. And he begins sort of leading you, and you can see, even though he does walk with the cane, his pace is not like it is slowed. He doesn't walk particularly slowly. He walks oddly, but not slowly. And he begins to show you some of the downstairs. Now, downstairs we do have some places where we, people like to sit here and take their lunch or take their breakfast or anything they might like, really. We have a facility downstairs, which is a bit of an area for our staff. If they have kids, they can spend their time here. We have a bit of a kind of kindergarten, I guess you could say. We do have teachers. We have people coming and going. It's a whole thing. We like to make sure that families don't have to be away from their people, basically. It's one of our kind of core tenets. Families should try and stick together if they can. We all have to work. There's no reason we can't have a family at the same time. And he begins to show you around and sort of leads you back to the elevators, and he sort of presses the 36th floor button and says, I figured this might be one of the quickest ways to give you a bit of an overview of the whole place. And as you begin to ascend in the elevator, he shows you Eden Tech is mostly about renewable energies. We are about forward-thinking technologies. We are about science and progress, but as well as keeping our world going. This is one of the biggest things that we want to do here and over here, and he points to one of the floors we have one of our R&D departments. They are currently working on some really interesting things with regards to prosthetics and robotics. I think it is. You might be interested in that yourself there, Mr. Bissett, and perhaps certain gene expressions we can work on. We can work on something. We can hook you up with an R&D department. Anyway, that is our energies department. Right now we're working on things that can sort of clean up the oceans a little bit, and free, sustainable, reusable energy. That is our biggest project. Can't quite get it to work long enough, though. I don't know if you know what a 0-point energy module is, but we've got one. Powers our building sometimes, stops working, we keep it going. Anyway, so, seems we are...
This time frame. Oh, sorry. I was gonna say during this time frame, Sora is sending a group chat message to the three of us here, and he just puts a gif of Admiral Ambar say it's a trap. Right, right location. Just to give a heads up. just to give it's a trap. Yep. I'm saying you can see he's like paranoid. He's just like looking around. He's trying to pay attention to the what you call it, but that wolf smell is just red flags everywhere. Red flags everywhere.
It's a trap.
Pretty much.
Indeed. So he shows you different facilities and talks about that they have various internship projects, and they actually have some schools that are opening up in the facility themselves, etc., etc. And as you're getting close to the 36th floor, he says, and this is where I would spend probably most of my time when I am here in New Orleans. This is not our main office. Kind of new, but we're working on it. So, and the door opens, and you can see that this seems to be more of what you would call like a penthouse apartment type area. There are different levels with different level floors. There are some comfortable white couches. There are sort of like sunken in areas. There's a bar area. There's all kinds of things, and there is a very interesting looking desk to one side, but it is kind of like very long and almost octagonal at the edges, and it seems to be made of some kind of metal / glass that is there. And the doors open, and he says, please come on in.
Kenny will politely enter as offered. And then look at Sora and and Quinn, like, follow.
Yep. Sora kind of looks at Quinn for a second, and then he'll follow suit. Just like he kind of like nods his head to the phone just in case he didn't get the chance to see the red alert. But then he'll keep moving forward.
All right. As you guys come in, you can you sort of make your way. You make your way inside, and the elevator door does close behind you, and you can see that Finn sort of touches a little button to the doors, and they close behind you. I says, well, now that we are here inside, I do have to ask. I'm not really sure why the kindred of New Orleans have decided to see me without Madeline present.
Well, that is a fascinating question that I'm sure that I can put some illumination on. As I understand it, you are likely to be fairly familiar with the full map of New Orleans and the parties privy to here. Is that correct?
I think that would be an accurate statement.
Well, then I take it that good.
You can see that he has put the cane into a little stand sort of thing where you would put an umbrella or something near the door, and without touching anything, you can see that the bottom half of his suit pants has disappeared, as have the shoes, as if they were some kind of illusion. And you can see that he is standing on what appear to be quite thick and large werewolf legs and feet. It's so much better when I don't have to walk that damn cane.
I can imagine that it would be. Do I take it then that you are familiar with the man who calls himself the Baron?
We have been trying to come to an agreement with the Baron for some time now. Yes. In the beginning,
Well-
it was, well, not extremely cooperative. I'm not going to lie.
Understood. Well, perhaps he is looking to be a bit more cooperative. I can't say. What I can say is that we come here bearing an invitation from him that he would like to speak with you.
That is interesting. Please, come on in. There's no reason to be scared. I promise I'm not gonna eat you.
Kenny will nod and
Pinky
sort of
promise?
smile, and he'll go take a seat.
You pinky promise?
I pinky promise.
Okay. You can't betray pinky promises. And he starts to walk. He walks away aside.
I like you, kid. Come on in. So,
He walks to the seat.
Mr. I'm sorry, I didn't get all of your names yet. I know, Mr. Brissett here, you are the one who made the appointment. We have... And he's pointing to Kenny.
Mr. Kenny Hartsmith, sir. Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
How about you, kid? What was your name?
Oh, you could call me Sora.
You know what's funny is, like, I'm calling you kid, but you could easily be, what, 500 years old? But you know, anyway. And you, sir? And he's pointing towards Quinn.
My name's Quinn. I
All right. Well,
like to make things.
it's good to meet you. Anyway, let's sit for a bit. Can I get you anything to drink? It would only be bagged stuff. We do medical research here, unfortunately, so can't promise anything fresh.
I love bags.
And
Okay.
you hear him. He speaks and he says, "Abraxas, would you mind sending up something for Mr. Quinn here?" And you hear a voice come over the intercom. "Yes, sir, of course. Is there any particular flavor you would perhaps enjoy, Mr. Quinn?"
Surprise me.
Oh, positive it is then. That shouldn't be a moment. Now, the Baron. That's good. It's good that he wants to talk. I mean, good for us, maybe not so good for him. Tell me, what do you think the biggest problem we have is? Now, I'm not just talking about New Orleans, I'm talking about us. My kind, your kind, all of us in the world. What do you think the biggest problem we have is right now?
Well, I can't say that I'm qualified so as to speak to the biggest problem, but I can say what I have the least appreciation for, what I personally find to be most disturbing. And that would be uh, perhaps the only thing that could be a unifying force, which is the thing that hunts all of us indiscriminately, which, as I understand it, has made its presence known here in the past couple of years within the city of New Orleans.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong there. Personally, I think a lot of that problem can be solved through another problem. You know what I think that is? Forward thinking, planning, lack of vision. We spend so much time squabbling about petty bullshit, basically. You people have your clans, we have our tribes, we have these grudges that we hold on to for generations that get passed down through people, and these curses which boil in our blood, basically. You have your own curses and we have ours. It takes almost every piece of my control not to want to rip you all to shreds simply because of what you are. That doesn't get us anywhere, does it?
No, sir, it does not.
Insight check.
Go ahead and roll it.
Well, it makes sense why this is happening because he's in paranoid mode, but he got all 5 successes, so he's good.
All right. He's telling the absolute truth. You can tell that, like, I mean, he's being cordial and he's being nice and he's being super reasonable, but he's telling the absolute truth that it takes everything inside him right now not to kill all of you in an instant.
No, it wouldn't. And I'll say that most kind tend to be protective of their children, and that does not necessarily apply to those who can find themselves living hundreds of years. But at the same time, those hundreds of years tend to lean towards vanity.
I agree. My own kind has its own vanities to deal with. I'm what they call, well, the polite term is a metis. You heard this before? I don't know if you know anything about our kind at all.
Um, uh, that sort of depends on do you want me to roll a check?
You can,
Kenny,
if yeah. I mean, you can make an occult check if you'd like.
Kenny Sire was old enough to instruct him on the more full scope of the supernatural,
Sure.
but just because they could have does not mean they did.
Check B.
Yeah, you can make a roll.
I mean, but what would the check be? Was it
Just
intelligence and occult?
intelligence and occult's good.
All right, cool.
That is 5 successes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one. Nope, not a single idea.
So yeah, Kenny, you've heard the term before. You've definitely heard the term before. You're not. I mean, 5 successes is really good. It's reasonable. So even though your sire might not have had all of the details, but from what was passed down to you, it is a term that seems to be given to werewolves that are exclusively born as. Oh no, maybe they wouldn't share all of that. Somehow, it's a term which she came across, which to her would describe a guru with some form of deformity.
Yes. The way that I understand it is that, um, well, I'm afraid it's not very polite, Mr. Aegis, but the way that I understand it is that it is the members of your kind that are born with some sort of a hmm, health ailment.
Well, that's a lot more polite than some guru would say to us, to be fair. Basically, we are looked down upon for many, many reasons, but both of my parents were guru, like myself. This manifests in a whole number of different ways. For me, it's the fact that when I am in this form, well, you can see that I still have legs that are like this. So I can't exactly go out in public without certain precautions. Hence the cane and the illusions. Although it's not so much as an illusion as a wonderful piece of technology we've built up so far. Anyway,
Have
the
the ability to copy that technology?
do you need something?
Maybe. It would be nice to have something. We tried many, many ways to hide it. It seems impossible, but maybe this can work.
We can talk. Uh,
Okay.
it's it's we can talk. Anyway, our kind is fractured. We are fighting a war which frankly we're losing. Your kind is fighting a war which frankly they're losing. Myself and Madeline and others agree that the reason for it is that we don't work together. We don't use our technologies and our magics and our long lifespans and our, shall we say, abilities to actually work to solving a problem. We fight about land, we fight about birth, we fight about clan, we fight about sect, we fight about stupid bullshit which doesn't get us anywhere. We're working to change that. Unfortunately, there are those within my kind which believe some of the Baron's sons, as he calls them, are less worthy than the Guru, even though technically they were here long before us. We're working towards trying to get these people into the fold as well, but that is part of our problem. You can pass along the message to the Baron if you'd like, that we are happy to help him. And we're gonna transition back to the party because I do realize our good friend Zach might have some things to do here. So we will come back to the conclusion of that particular meeting at the beginning of our next episode, but we're going to transition to the Toreadors right now. Michaela and Elijah and Sakura. The doors begin to open, and for a moment, if you hadn't been warned, you would indeed be freaking the fuck out. What you see before you is daylight. Outside, sunlight fills the air. Warm breezes blow. stepping through the door, you notice that your clothing is completely changed. It seems as if you are wearing very, shall we say, Greco-Roman-esque type outfits in different whites, cinched with gold bands around your waists. You hear the sound of laughter echoing amongst the trees, and walking up towards you, you see what appears to be a very muscular and quite nude man with horns in his head and the lower half of a goat, and he seems to be carrying a tray. Madeline, more company? And she comes up to him and gives him a kiss on the cheek and says, "We have got company indeed. This is Francis." And he takes a little bow and says, "I will be your bartender for this evening, amongst other things. Please, enjoy yourself."
Uh, uh, thank you, penis. I mean, Francis! Thank you, Francis. It's nice to meet you.
He laughs and he says, "Well, might be even nicer later on in the evening, you never know." "Same goes for you, sir." He gives you a wink, Elijah, and walks off. And he got a bit of cake in him, I'm not gonna lie. He got a bit of cake in him as he walks off to give some more drinks to various party goers in the area. Sakura and Elijah and Michaela, I'm not entirely sure if you guys have ever met any satyrs before, but if you feel your character has not, you're welcome to go ahead and make an intelligence and occult roll.
I'm gonna make an intelligence and occult roll because, I mean, she would probably know it as a librarian,
Mm-hmm.
but this might be like the first time she's ever seen one. She's not gonna be like, "Oh, satyrs don't exist," because she's a vampire and supernatural is, but this might be the first time she's met one. So I'm gonna make an intelligence, and what was the other one roll?
Occult.
Okay.
I'd say the same about Sakura. She probably knows a lot about them because they're very fantasy and
Yeah.
everything, but she probably never actually seen one.
Michaela, I'm going to say you can add your specialty for academics to this as well, so you get an additional dice. Why not?
Sweet. All right. So it is 4 successes.
2.
Sakura, this guy has got to be the best cosplayer you've ever seen. Michaela, I mean,
Yeah, no, sure.
shit, you've read about them, and I mean, ghosts are real, vampires are real, I guess fucking satyrs are real?
Naked ones, anyway.
I mean, what other kind would they?
I don't know.
So, did Elijah make the roll, or is Elijah just like, "Damn, look at that cake"?
Elijah, simply even seeing the sun, snaps the glass he's holding.
So, Madeline turns to all of you and says, "Now, as I said, it's not real. You might remember that I had mentioned, come on, let's go have a bit of fun." And she sort of like loops her arm around yours, Michaela. "You might remember that I mentioned during my inauguration that I have been speaking to the changeling community within New Orleans, and they have the most amazing abilities you can imagine. All of the sunlight, fake. Can't harm us. but it looks like the real thing.
Cool.
Sakura just looks up like, it is so pretty.
It has been a long time. A very long time.
Now, one more thing. How would you all like to hear a little story and have a little, shall we say, experience?
I mean,
Sakura
so
raises
far,
her hand.
so far, all of the experiments that we've been doing has been really interesting. I am totally for it.
I'm in. Looks at Elijah.
He's probably into. He's a little confused by the.
I imagine he is. He's being quiet.
I'll have to see what sort of experience.
You're not fun.
Oh, I'm fun. I'm fun. Just never around you two.
She leads you to a banquet table that you can only call, I don't know, decadent and extravagant. It looks like something you'd see out of the painting of Titian's The Bacchanal. There are all kinds of cornucopia and foods and drinks, etc., on the table, and she waves over to another pair of satyrs which come walking over. One seems to be fairly, I would say, they are beautiful and masculine and feminine at the same time, and they have this air about them of mystery. And the other one seems to be a woman, and she says, "Dears, would you mind?" "Well, for you, Madeline, anything." And the more feminine one sort of sits down, and the one that is more, shall we say, androgynous, they take just a little knife out, and just a little tray, a small little plate, shall we say, and they start scraping the female's horns just a little bit to get some flakes off, and then scrapes a little bit of the other one, and then they switch places, and the more feminine one does the same thing and says, "That should be enough," and hands it to Madeline. "Enjoy." Madeline looks on the table and spots, there we go. She spots a stack of papers, which look to be like rolling papers, and she pulls a bit of tobacco out of the pouch and puts the tobacco there, and takes some of the satyr horn and sprinkles it on, and starts to roll it up rather expertly, and licks it, and she says, "Now, in my day, this was more opium and morphine, really. Although you can't really smoke morphine, but this is way better." Anyway, and she lights it up, takes a big old puff, and hands it to Sakura.
Sakura would take it.
All right, Sakura takes a hit. Very nice.
Yep.
All right, Sakura, make me a resolve. That's still at the -1. Resolve and composure. Michaela, does Sakura pass to Michaela?
Michaela looks at Sakura and decides to follow Sakura's, step in Sakura's steps, because obviously she wants to not be a Killjoy Toreador, because she's obviously a Toreador. So she's like, I'm sure Toreadors would participate in weird things like this. This is a Toreador thing. This is a Toreador party. Let's do it. So she takes a puff.
2 success.
2 successes. All right.
What was the roll that I need to make?
Resolve and composure.
Oh, it's a good thing I have resolve.
Does Elijah follow suit? Nope. He's just watching.
He's like, I think one of us should remain a little bit more even-minded.
Where's my composure? Okay, there it is. Oh, I have a lot of composure. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
All right, let's do this. That is 6 successes.
6 successes. Wow, very nice. Okay, so, Sakura. It feels like the world begins to open up, and you have sensed the unseen, but this is just a whole another kind of thing that you are seeing all together. There are a million different shades of colors that you could not even name and or comprehend. It is as if you are seeing the makeup of the fruit and the food on the tables, but it's more than that. It's almost as if when you are looking at these items of everything, the skin of your friends on the table, it is almost as if you can make out like sigils and inscriptions and little building blocks which seem to be making up the fabric of all of these things. It is almost overwhelming. Michaela, you feel a wonderful sense of joy and enthusiasm and just you really feel like you are open and alert and relaxed. And
Okay.
perhaps for the first time in a very long time, you feel like you don't have to put on a front. Like everything is okay and right with the world at this point.
Michaela's not putting on any fronts. Michaela is chill.
Yeah. So, Madeline sort of puts the essentially set her horn joint back on the just a little plate and says, "That's there if you want it, Elijah." Now, other than that, there's all this food, all this drink. It's all stuff we can eat and drink, even if you can't usually eat and drink it, thanks to the changelings. Wonderful, wonderful creatures. I want to show.
Oh,
I would like to show you something.
sure.
And give you a bit of a story time.
I like stories. Michaela is a lightweight. Yes, she is.
Hey, Sakura's seeing the universe.
Sakura is seeing the universe. So, Madeline sort of stands up and sort of loops her arm around both of your arms and says, "Please join us, Elijah, or the gardens are yours to explore if you would prefer to do that."
I'll hang back here for a little bit.
Very good. Madeline begins leading the other two Toreador towards a section of the gardens which looks to be fairly new. Standing in the center of this newish garden is a beautiful tree, which seems to be the bark of which seems to be bone white, and the leaves are very similar to what you would call oak leaves, but they are a blood red. It's a beautiful tree, very tall. Sakura, to your eyes, this tree is giving off the most amazing glows and auroras, like out of anything you've seen in this entire evening of this experience. This tree is giving off this experience.
She just stares at it. Just it's great.
It is pretty. Come, let's sit. And Madeline puts her hand on the tree. This tree is very special.
Is it a magic tree?
It is.
Cool.
This is what we call an Eden tree. You know why we call it that?
No.
Because it comes from the Garden of Eden.
Oh, that's cool.
Not directly, of course, but it is a sapling of a sapling of a sapling. What do you know about our kind, where we come from?
I mean,
How much would Sakura know?
It's up to you as a player. What do you feel Sakura would know about vampires?
Feel like she wouldn't care to know much. Like she would not seek it out much.
Okay.
Michaela would probably know will probably know based on her, literature research and trying as hard as she can to like hide her, nothing to hide, of course, but learning about as much as her origins as possible, just so that she doesn't die or anything. So I feel like she would know a little bit, but it's all literature that can be found, really, not easily, not like dark, black, not what am I looking for, like underground knowledge. It's more of like whatever is easily found. That's what she has.
All right. So you would know the general story about the 13 clans, and that supposedly vampires are descended from Cain.
That's what I tell the Prince Madeline. I'm like, I mean, I know about the 13 clans. I know our father Cain. That's pretty much all I know. Whatever is available to me, that is that.
Well, that is what most people would tell you, but most people are wrong. And they leave out the most important parts. You see, once upon a time, in the beginning of all things, there were the Elohim. Each of the Elohim, we would call them angels and or gods. One of these Elohim, all of them really, had gardens to take care of on the earth. One of them was incredibly lonely, and from his tears were born the first creatures, a man and a woman. They were called Adam and Lilith, and they were equals. Lilith was clever. She desired to know all things. Adam was given dominion over the beasts of the land, hunting, and such. Lilith was given her own duties. There came a time where she wanted to know more, and so she ate of the fruit from the trees of the knowledge of good and evil. But she was not ashamed of who she was, not ashamed of her nakedness. She began to learn about the beasts and the plants of the forests and gardens. And eventually, Adam, well, he grew jealous of her and did, well, let's just say he did rather unspeakable things to her. Their creator saw what Adam had done and took Lilith with him for some time. Lilith learned what she could from the Creator, and they two became lovers for a time. Adam grew lonely, and the Creator decided to make another mate for him, but seeing how this mate was made disgusted Adam. So while Adam was sleeping, the Creator removed a rib from him and created the third woman, who was known as Eve. Eventually, the Creator grew jealous of Lilith's desires for knowledge, to be like him, and expelled her from heaven and the garden. She wandered out in the wilds and the darkness of the world for many centuries, eventually finding the oceans. And there she gave birth to the children of the Creator, all the beasts that live in the seas. The story is quite long, and I would like to share more of it with you, but eventually Lilith met another being, one of the other Elohim. We would know him as the Morning Star, or the Light Bringer, Lucifer. And for a time, they had their own garden and their own children. And after many, many years, walking in the wilderness, cursed and alone, Lilith came upon a young man who had done the unspeakable and become the world's first murderer. He was the child of Adam, known as Cain. Lilith took him into her garden and taught him the secrets of our kind. She gave him her blood and eternal life. How do you think Cain repaid her?
I'm gonna guess not good.
Michaela goes, how?
Not good is an understatement. Eventually, Cain had left Lilith's garden and sired his own progeny. He returned with his 13, slaughtered Lilith's children, and destroyed her garden. But only 2 clans did not take part in the slaughter. Those would be Toreador and Nosferatu.
It's me! Toreador!
Exactly.
Yeah!
Those clans would be forever looked kindly upon by Lilith and her children.
Shit. She whispers.
And so some of us understand that we are not Cainites or kindred, and we choose to honor our true mother, Lilith, and call ourselves Lilin or Bahar.
Would I know what a Bahari is? As
Based upon what
Michaela.
you had said earlier,
no. Okay, cool.
I think Sakura might have a vague idea because she is from the LA Toreadors. So she might know a lit, like she might know the name, but like not pay attention to much else.
very good. Elijah, while you are at the table there, you can make a just a wits and insight roll for me, just to judge the general vibe of things. So Sakura, you might have heard a little bit about it. You might have heard a little bit about art. 3? All right. 3 for Elijah. So no one seems to be trying to kill you, which is good. The sunlight isn't burning you. And in general, you would say this seems to be a damn good party. The people are enjoying themselves. There are drinks flowing. There are people in various states of debauchery. Whether or not that means he would feel a little bit more calm or not, I'm not sure. But so far, no one's trying to hurt you. So, you know, that's a good thing.
Yeah, he's actively just like this close to just heading right out the door.
Michaela and Sakura by the tree. Prince Madeline says, as Bahari, we have, well, lots of differing beliefs on how we approach things. But some of our core beliefs are that knowledge should be shared. Pleasure is sacred. And we should all be teachers and lovers and friends to those we meet. But above all, we need to understand that existence is pain. But the point of existence is love. Now, I am going to go do some more Sederhorn. But if either of you would like to learn more, I would be delighted to have you join one of our gatherings.
I think I might come.
Sure. She's still high, so
Oh
probably
yeah, so is Saxar, but she's still thinking.
Very good. All right. Well, I think that is a very good place to pause our story for this evening. As the party with the changelings and the satyrs continue, and our friends are busy at Eden Tech trying to organize this meeting, we shall end our story for tonight. Thank you all so much for joining Blood in the Bayou, Chapter 6. I hope you had a good time. And again, to all of you amazing people that are following, thank you so much. If you happen to want to give us a subscription, you can actually do it for free. If you happen to have an Amazon Prime account, you get one free Twitch subscription. So if y'all feel like joining in on that, you're welcome to. Every single subscription that we get goes right back into the channel to helping us develop more content, create artworks, upgrade our technology and such, and potentially get on some special guests at some point in time. Eventually, we will be releasing special cast chit-chat sessions on certain platforms, and we look forward to you joining us for those. So, thank you all. Make sure to love your friends, give each other nice big hugs, especially those of you that are vaccinated and can now see your friends and give them hugs for the first time in, gosh, almost a year and a half. We love you. And good night.